While this might be a gaming-centric channel, on occasion I will be talking about things outside of the video game industry or video games as a whole. And one of those topics, today's in particular, is going to be the Lord of the Rings films, as Peter Jackson is apparently working on new Lord of the Rings films for Warner Brothers, targeting a 2026 debut. First film will center on the character of Gollum, as Andy Serkis is set to star and direct. Now, just to say really quick, the reason I'm even covering this is because the Lord of the Rings trilogy done by Peter Jackson, my favorite movies ever, no questions asked. I don't think that's ever really going to change. I might do a top 5 films or top 10 films at some point, but I really want to focus on my top 10 games video first. But moving on from that, I'll just hop right into the article. Warner Brothers has officially confirmed that they will be returning to Middle-earth and bringing audience members with them, or those willing anyway. The Warner Brothers Discoveries for Corner Earnings conference call on Thursday happened, and in that, CEO David Zaslav said that the company is now in the early stages of script development for new Lord of the Rings movies, which he says they anticipate releasing in 2026. So, multiple movies apparently. Multiple movies apparently, which he says they anticipate releasing in 2026 and will explore storylines yet to be told. Yet to be told. I think that's pretty key, you know? Sounds like that's nothing that Tolkien had any involvement in himself, from what I would be able to tell. Now, I've seen, like, thumbnails or, like, you know, titles of videos that are like, oh, you know, the Lord of the Rings sequel that Tolkien was working on was too dark, so he scrapped it or whatever. So maybe they're going off of that. Maybe. I have no idea. But it doesn't seem to be that way based on that. Anyway, the first film from New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers Pictures will be called The Lord of the Rings, it'll be called Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum, working title, with Andy Serkis set to star and direct the feature. Zaslav says that director Peter Jackson and his longtime writing partners Fran, Walsh, and Philippa Boyens will be involved every step of the way. Boyens and Walsh will write the screenplay. The deal covers 2 films in the franchise. So, Hunt for Gollum being the first one, and then the second one being whatever it ends up being that they're not willing to talk about yet, or maybe they haven't really planned out yet, or whatever, which is weird because they're supposed to come out in the same year. It is an honor and privilege to travel back to Middle-earth with our good friend and collaborator. Okay, so this lifelong fans, proud to be working with them. Okay. Well, let's see, is there anything else here that isn't fluff? It was developing them over a year ago, cutting a deal with rights holders Embracer Group, AB, to develop new films. Okay. Embracer Group. Interesting. That name rings a bell, for sure. On the video game side, actually. But anyway, let's see here. I don't want to go off on that. This is all fluff. Okay, well, yeah, they got Amazon working on their own BS. A new trailer just dropped. Don't watch it because it doesn't matter. Honestly, I could do a reaction to it or something like that if I found out how to make that work, but even if I did, I don't want to, because I just like, we're here to focus on things we like, you know? I love the movies, but I am talking about this, and I'll get to my take on it in a moment here once I make sure there's nothing else that's actual information. Oh wait, hold on. The original film trilogy releasing remastered and extended in theaters this summer. So that sounds nice. That's nice. That's good news. I like that. But I will say, when it comes to this whole deal, this is kind of the main stuff. And when it comes to that, I do think that Andy Serkis, obviously reprising his role as Gollum is a no-brainer, and him directing is honestly also a no-brainer. You know, he has a pretty good resume when it comes to directing films at this point, and he has acted with or without motion capture in a good number of well-known films at this point as well. He's got a really good resume built up in the film industry, as ever since, you know, he broke out into that whole deal with Gollum in the original trilogy, and he's just fantastic. You know, so I'm not really worried about his capabilities. I'm not worried about Peter Jackson or Fran Walsh or Philippa Boyens. You know, the fact that they'll be involved every step of the way is a reassuring thing to, you know, say when you're announcing these movies for sure. But I will say that, you know, it's, I'm a little hesitant to be, like, excited, really. I love the original trilogy. The Hobbit trilogy is, well, it's better than the Disney Star Wars trilogy, in my opinion, but, geez, not by too much. I hate to admit that, but, you know, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't go that far. I shouldn't go that far, I think. But, you know, this is clearly a money grab, but at least we've got solid people behind it who are behind the original Peter Jackson trilogy, such as Peter Jackson himself. Having Andy Serkis and Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens is that's all equally important as well. They were all key in the success of those original films. And, you know, the catch to that is that people leave projects. You know, one example that comes to mind is Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender live-action adaptation that originally had the creators Michael DiMartino and Brian Konietzko on directly involved in everything, but they had creative differences, and like a year or two within production and the announcement even, they split. And that first season came out, and I got through the first 2 episodes, but I heard things about episode 3, and I was like, you know what, I'm afraid to go back, to be honest. I am. But I liked a lot of what I saw. I started, you know, I started to like things about it, but there were a lot of weird choices with it. But the only reason I bring it up is that the creators left. And so when we saw an announcement like this for that, a year or 2 later, we get an announcement, oh, creators are gone. So people leave projects when it comes to creative differences, when it comes to, like, you know, the money side clashing with the creative side, even after announcing things, right? So that can happen. And even if that does not happen, people change over the course of time. It's been over 20 years since all 3 movies released, and people's creative decisions can change. And I'm not saying that to, like, you know, plant a seed of doubt per se, but I am saying, you know, let's pump the brakes before we get too excited, is my take personally. I'm a little biased because I like, you know, I like the Lord of the Rings movies enough to, I mean, I love them enough that I'm going to be like, you know what, I don't think anything's really going to top them. I say leave it alone. Don't mess with it. But I guess it could be worse, you know. So, anyway, that's not one of my most optimistic takes. But, you know, thank you guys for watching and liking and sharing and subscribing, and let me know what you guys think about this announcement. Let me know what you think about the Peter Jackson movies. Let me know what you think about the animated Lord of the Rings movies, if you know about those. And let me know what you think about the Hobbit movies and the books and the series, and whether or not I should do more content that is outside of gaming, or if you would prefer my content to focus solely on gaming with the occasional, very, very occasional exception. So thank you guys very much, and we will see you all next time.